G'day Rocketeers, Benny here with another video. There's my baby. Yeah, she's in pieces now, tank off. I want to do a bit of work to her. The initial job is to do clutch on it. Unfortunately my girl's slipping a little bit, so I ended up getting a Barnett's heavy duty clutch from the States. Just waiting for that to arrive, but in the meantime I'll pull everything apart. Now in the process to do the clutch, you actually got to remove the radiator and expose that whole front of the engine. So while I'm going to do that, I'll do a coolant change too. So two birds, one stone. Make the job easier. I got rid of the front wheel and the guard. I don't want to sort of scratch my paint work. So anyway, we'll do your coolant change, or to drain your coolant. Just remember, little screw on the side here, and under your cap. If it wants to come, there you go. So that'll allow it to bleed a little bit, or breathe I should say. And then the top screw of the water pump, if you can see it there. Just undo that. That actually helps drain the block. So let that baby out, and then remove the hose. Alright, I'm going to need both hands for this, so I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so coolant's starting to drain a little bit from our little drain plug on the water pump. Next is to remove the top hose. Alrighty, now we're loosening our clamp, and there's the hose, so we got a little bit of coolant draining. There it is. Don't worry about the black stuff, that's just oil from my oil drain earlier. Alright, we're going to give this a bit of a jiggle. That's the process for now. Once I get this all drained out, I'll continue on to removing this beauty. There's a couple of bolts there, and one in there somewhere if you can see. And the hose. Top hose there you've got to pull off. And that'll get your radiator out of the way. Alrighty, I'll speak to you soon. Well guys, alright, so the hose is off. It's all finally sort of drained out a little bit. There you go, look at that, eh? Persistent. Alright guys, where we're at now is I've undone the two hoses on the thermostat housing, as you can see there. And just up the top there, if you can see, I can't really point, but just above that black hose, that's your bleeder there, so when you go to top up you'll be cracking that to let the air out. Anyway, so one hose on the bottom, the little one, big one on the top, two bolts undone there, that's undone there. The top, the shortish rubber hose on the water pump, I'll get that when I get the radiator out of the way. It's a bit of a tricky one, but we'll go over to this side. Okay, so that little bolt you can see behind there, that's one you got to undo to get the bottom part of the radiator out. I've undone this hose here too, so that's out of the way. If I can move it, there you go. And then all you got to do is unplug your radiator fan, which we'll get to when we expose it. Alright, I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so we finally managed to undo that bottom mount. Yeah, that's a tricky one. All you need is a good extension, you'll get to it. You just lift it forward and out, and that frees everything. So now I'm going to unplug the fan, and then do that top hose, and that's radiator out of the way. You little ripper. Alright, back at it guys. Now, just behind the right hand frame cover there, as you can see, I put my Eastern Beaver kit there. Just in front of the coil, that's your fan connector. So don't forget to disconnect that. Makes it nice and easy. I've just sort of held the radiator back up. Other than that, I've decided to remove the top hose from there, just to make it easier to remove, as tugging the hose off the thermostat's not making me happy at the moment. So we'll have this out of the way quite shortly. Thank you. Alright guys, I got the plug out. The easiest way is to pull it back up through the top there. It is a tight little bugger, so that's That's the one that's in our main loom, if you can see that clearing up in my painful focus. And then we go back down here. That's our lead there. And give it a bit of a tug and off we go. And then I'll relocate our light. That's a bit better. Alright, so that's at where it is now. Loom's loose. Beautiful. Alright, give me a second. Alright, so hose is unplugged there. A little bit easier. Loom is done. Radiator's dropped out. 2 bolts off. Slide your radiator out. Hit your exhaust. Beautiful. And that's the front of the engine. I'll get some better light on that. Alright, get back into it. Alright, now we've got to the front of the engine. We're going to have to remove this baby. Get these 2 brackets out of the way, the bottom supports of the radiator. And then we have full access to the front. Take the water pump off. And that's pretty much it. Now, I'll make another video with getting to that front engine cover. But otherwise, now we know the basics of draining your coolant and removing your radiator. And what did he say? What does that say? Interesting. Back at it, guys. Yeah, me and the weather reporter, a bit miserable out there. Alright, so I'm just giving this a bit of a lever as it is a bit stiff to get out. So that's coming out very nicely. You know, I'm the type of guy that will replace these rubber grommets regardless of anything. Like the last thing you want is to put all that jazz back and it starts to leak, then you have to pull all that back out to do it. So, you know, I'll replace that. So the bottom support mounts are out of the way. All you have left really is this water pump, which I've already undone, the 3 bolts. So that's slides out nicely. Let's look at my thing's only done 16,000k, so I'm pretty confident there's nothing wrong there. So there's the opening for the water pump. It's in the way, or I'm in the way of the light. Look down there, something interesting. They're all the bolts that you'll have to undo to get that front engine cover off, which is not many. You know, just got to. I'm the type of person to take nut bolts out, take the cover out of the way, and put the bolts back in their holes so you know where they go. Top hose, front of the engine there, inspection hole. There. So we're getting there. Alrighty, I'll get back to you. Alright, now we've finished removing bits and pieces on the right hand side of the bike. We'll come back over to the clutch side. So to make it easy, we'll get rid of this cable, bracket. Now, I haven't studied up on this yet. The main thing was to get the whole front of the bike clear so I can get to this. Now, I'm going to replace my clutch cable because it's just something I want to do. Put in a heavy duty clutch in. I had this problem with my M109R where the clutch cables would snap. They were inferior product, or were an inferior product, so I'd rather not risk it now. Yeah, clutch cable, it's easy to route back up. I got most of the pathway clear, so I might as well do it. And it's cheap as chips. So alright, now that's my catch can overflow, bracket, clutch cable. Alright, now we're playing with the clutch side of things. So, as I was saying before, the bracket will have to be removed. I've got, there's a bit of tension there, but I've wound that back. So remember to, I don't know if you can see it too well, remember to line up all those grooves to get your clutch cable out. And then pull and release. And that takes the tension away once you wind back everything, and now she's slack here. Now another little method that I use, everyone differs, but luckily the old girls are common size, so you can use I've used the what size have we got here? 15/16 on your clutch actuator, located forward, and then you're able to remove the little clutch cable through the back there. Alright, now I'll get that organised and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, well, I've taken the chrome plate off the front there, and this is just a rubber gasket up behind it, and a rubber seal, and I was expecting like a gold mine back here. It's nothing, just casting. I've started undoing all the bolts around the edge there. They're all of similar length, so well, as far as I've got them out, I've got to get all these ones out yet. Now, clutch cable's removed, bracket's gone. Like I said, slacken your clutch off up the top here on the handpiece. Remove your clutch cable from its locator. Then use whatever method you guys want to use. You can put an Allen key in there and a bar, and then turn it up, and then take the cable out from the hole here. You know, so it's just pretty much through there. Drop it down the back, easy as pie. Alright, so I'll keep going to get the front of this engine off, and I'll start recording again. Thank you. Finally, we've cleared the path, and every bolt that holds my chin guard on. So yeah. Now, as easy as it is, as I was thinking, what's holding this bloody cover on, and not realising I had a bolt tucked in behind here that I forgot to slack off. But once you get all your bolts undone, this thing practically falls forwards, and all you have to do is just rotate your clutch the other way, watch the oil come out. Slowly, bit by bit. Trying to do this one hand, it doesn't help. So now we've got it open a little bit, and out she comes. Now, here is something that's supposed to be a little bit, there we go. Alright, that part, a little bit tricky is that clutch part. Gasket's holding on, so there we go. So there's the front of the engine, guys. Hey, beautiful. Hope I can put this all back together. Jesus. Anyway, so there's our clutch rod. Now, I remember there was a rumour of these things breaking these buttons off in the early silver engines. I hope people can sort of give me a bit of feedback on that, because I'd be interested to know how inferior that actual clutch button is. Mine is 08 model, so I've got a black engine. Hopefully they've fixed that problem. Either way, if I've got to replace it, I'll replace it. I'm here now. Anyway, there we go, guys. That's how easy it is. Alrighty, I'll keep recording.